Okay, this is how to adjust the Watts radiant manifolds. We've got two manifolds here. This is a supply and a return. So the hot water comes up into the manifold, goes out to the loop in question. You may have a number of loops that serve one area of the home or one room. Those will be listed off on a little tag that's hanging on the tube, and it will say what zone it's for. So what you want to try to do is make sure that the water flow for each zone is balanced across the loops that make up that zone. Really quite brief on this, but when the boiler is on and the thermostat is calling for heat, the pump is running, the boiler may or may not be firing, but there is flow, you will get a flow indication across the tops of these headers. And you can see here that these headers do have a gallons per minute flow rate that goes from 2 gallons per minute all the way down to 0. So if you've got a warm spot and a cool spot in the house, I would suggest that the warmer areas, you're going to reduce the flow, and the cooler areas, you're going to increase the flow. So what you do for that is basically, on the end of the manifold, you're going to find a manifold adjustment key. This manifold adjustment key works on the balancing valve that's underneath this blue cap. So you thread off the blue cap, and then what you're going to do is, while the boiler is flowing and while you're calling for heat, this will give you an indication, and you can make adjustments here. So basically you can screw it in or screw it out, and that's going to adjust the flow rate. Like I said, you want to make sure that the flow rate is similar for each loop in each individual zone. The warmer zones, you're going to want to decrease flow, and the cooler zones, you're going to want to increase. So basically, that's about it. When you're finished making your adjustment, what you're going to do is you're going to put the cap back on and screw it right down until it stops. And that's basically it. Without putting telestats on that are connected to individual room thermostats, the entire house is going to basically have the same amount of flow until you make these adjustments. What I would suggest is that the flow adjustments are made, and once that's complete, just basically feel out the system for levels of comfort. Like I said, cooler areas, you're going to want to increase the flow. Warmer areas, you're going to want to decrease the flow. You can adjust the flow by just loosening off these caps. That will decrease flow, because the cap right now sits on top of the stem of the balancing valve. So when it's fully closed all the way down, it's going to be pretty much fully open. However, proper adjustment is done with the key. Anyways, if you do need this done, if you do need this balancing done, it's something that we can take care of for you. Whoops.